The death toll has reached 99. That's where it stands right now in Maui because of the wildfires. Authorities say that number is expected to climb. Amid the devastation, people are mobilizing across the country to help those in need. Among those working to provide aid is Dr. Matthew Minson. He's assisting with the coordination of medical and humanitarian needs through the nonprofit Healthcare Ready. Thank you so much for coming on the show this morning.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Can you talk with us about the challenges of an island response to wildfires, the wildfires that we're seeing in Hawaii right now?
Yes, it's significant. I think there's a couple of things that with an island response that are challenging, and in particular this one. This was fire. And we saw similar types of issues with Haiti, where you take a significant hit to infrastructure, and fire is actually the most devastating form. And it really limits your ability to do certain things and move. Similarly, at present, they've only searched really about a quarter. This was as of yesterday. They've only searched about a quarter of the area, which they anticipate, because they've got lots of great resources there for search and rescue. They anticipate they should be about 90% by this weekend. But there's a lot that you find out with regard to things like roads, capability for travel, mobilization of resources once you get on land. It makes it very challenging. And again, you're talking about a very long logistical arm that's necessary to a remote area. So it's quite challenging.
Yeah, a lot of things that you might not have thought of beforehand. Once you get there, it's a whole nother story. In the past, I know you've helped respond to the tsunami in Indonesia and the earthquake in Haiti. What lessons did you learn from those natural disasters that could help you in helping and assisting in other natural disasters?
In particular for this one, it is that there really are, the disaster is kind of biphasic from a medical standpoint. There's the initial need for medical care and medical resources for things like the acute injury, burns, respiratory injury that takes place with regard to smoke and dust. And then there's the second form, and it's not often thought about or talked about, but it's quite significant, can be quite great. We saw it with Haiti in particular, and that has to do with things like dialysis or chemotherapy or other things that are necessary, medications that are necessary for individuals that, if they are abruptly withdrawn, can create a second wave of medical victims, and that is a challenge. That is something that can be prevented if it's anticipated and the resources can get there. But it's something to think about as we kind of look at this situation, because the infrastructure is so wiped out, and because it's such a challenging area in particular.
Dr. Minson, I'm so glad you brought that up. We are running out of time, but I wanted to ask you, what are some of the programs within the organization Healthcare Ready to help with year-round medical efforts, some of the things that you just mentioned?
Healthcare Ready functions as a resource aid for people in need and areas in need. It also does this by being a functional arm between the federal government and medical manufacturers and pharmaceutical manufacturers, and they do great work. So I'd basically just recommend everybody take a look at healthcareready.org, and certainly if one wants to get involved, that's a great group to support.
Dr. Minson, thank you so much for your time this morning. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.